We're going to have a conference on healing in Long Beach, California, August 3rd and 4th, 2009. And the topic of healing really deals with the issue of how victims of domestic violence that I've talked to over the years have a yearning for moving past the experience of their victimization. It doesn't mean that they're trying to forget and pretend like it never happens. Doesn't mean that they're not touched by the experience forevermore. But they want to be able to not let it consume their lives, and they want to figure out a way to be able to move past the experience, move past the trauma. This conference is really going to be targeted to African American women who've been victims of domestic violence, but also children, but particularly adult children who were exposed to domestic violence when they were young. So oftentimes our focus is on children as their children. When, any number of stories, and anybody who's worked in the field for any length of time can understand or recall stories of adults who've been exposed to it as children. They need some healing as well.
At 63 years old, my dad snapped, and he murdered my mother and committed suicide. The consequence of my dad's decision was a family that was devastated. But not just a family, it was a community that was devastated.
We think it's an ongoing process, but I think we will find people who are travelers on the same path and have a chance to sort of speak with each other about it, and to maybe be guides for other people who may not have been on the path or are not on the path right now. Not to suggest that there's one path. There are a number of ways that you can find the path to healing. And what we want to find is those elements that make up the guideposts of that journey.
The first thing is that it's not like, okay, I'm healed and it's done now and let's just go on. Healing is it's kind of an amazing process of spiritual maturity. Sometimes I'm in a place where I can say, in a very kind of rational, logical way, this is what I'm going to do, and that's all there is to it. And there are other days that I have no idea what I'm going to do from moment to moment. I have to step out, as they say, on faith that comes from having gone through this experience and am now able to see the sunrise.
The other thing that we want to try to do is to use different forms to be able to engage people in this process, to use music, to use art, as well as academic presentations and personal stories and insights as a way to be able to move people in the process. Another goal of the conference is to talk to advocates and service providers about how to create an environment and what things they may need to build into their programs to promote healing, but also to maybe even expand who they define as their clients, or the people that they serve, the consumers that they serve. Clearly, not only battered women, but adult children who've been exposed. So this notion of healing is something that we felt like was not attended to as much as it has needed to be. We've heard people talk about victimization and their support around that, or survivorship. But, in my 30 years of doing this work, I've heard people talk about the desire to be able to move to a different place. And what they've said to me is to heal. They've had conversations about having experiences years ago and being in new relationships and new circumstances, but still reacting to different triggers or different situations where they feel the challenges still exist for them. And what we want to do is we want to learn from people who have been tested, but also these people who have testimonies. So that's what we want to try to achieve.